Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Paul here from Flutter. Today we'll be talking about provider implementation. So recently I have gotten a lot of feedback on bringing this project out, and I'm really thankful for those of you that have been checking the project out on GitHub right here. So I have gotten some stars here and some few people working on the project, and which is really great and a motivation for me to keep on doing this particular project here. So I'm really grateful for that. So here is the app being running on an Infinix Android phone right here. So and I'll try to log in and try to access the app, but first let's enable our location for this app on this particular phone. So I'll enable it and set it to all time. So I'll try to, and here it is. So I'll insert my mobile number here so I can get a 6-digit code to verify myself before I get in, because this is a phone authentication. So you can check my previous video on how to implement this. So you see a link on the top right corner of this video, and you can click on it to view it. So I'll click on the go here and see if I'll be redirected somewhere. Okay, so I'm getting this because Firebase needs to check if I'm a robot or not. So I have passed the test. I'm not a robot. So I'll check here to see the code being sent to me, and I've seen it here. So I'll start typing that in the box. So 918086, and I'll click on go here and wait for a few seconds and wait. Okay, congratulations to us, we are in the app. So for those of you following this, so I think you guys have made it to this place. So we can see our current location here, and let me try to go to a new destination. So I'll start typing there. I'll start typing to see. So I'm going here, click there, and I'm here. So here's my current location, and I'm trying to go here. So that is it for this video. So in our future videos, there is a pop-up that is going to come up here, not forgetting how a ride hailing app is being implemented. So we can select a vehicle that we want and also select the ride, and this will send a request to the driver app, and the driver app is going to make some action to it, like maybe accept the ride, and we start seeing the driver in the map and approaching us. So this will then be out, and we can start seeing the driver in the map approaching us. So that will be the implementation. So I can just take you down to where we had that, and yet all of it. So I'll post it on the description below so you can see, and so your mind will not be off from our goals. So in this video, it's more of converting this particular app to a provider implementation, because currently we are using the block pattern, and I'll just walk you through that. Currently we are using the block, and as you can see, this is how we are implementing the block in our own case. So we have the UI, which is what you're seeing currently, and also we have the block, which is what maintains the state of this app, like the click events. Like when we click here, you see we get the location of this particular point that is being clicked. So all of that is being done by the block, which is actually the business logic component. And if you know a little about block implementation, and here in this is where the real fun is. The repo, it's responsible for sending and fetching data, maybe save data as a local database in our app. And the model here is what model whatever data that is being received from our database and model it so we can use it on our blog and reflect it on our UI. So the services here are some services we'll be using on our blog and also on our repository. So we can use the auth service on the repo, can use the navigation service, and some few other service. We have all of that. You can see it here in our folder structure, the model, the UI, the repository, the service, the UI, which is our components to use on the pages, and some few utils here that we are using. So that's it. And to show you the block implementation of this, we'll go a little bit down, and here's the provider. So you can see there is only a single change on this, which is the state here. So in using the block here, we'll be using the state on provider. So this will be responsible for all the click actions, the state changes on our UI. So this will get the data from our repo or our services, and when this data is being modeled, it will use it on the state here and reflect it on our UI. So the state here is what is like an interface between the UI and the domain layer here. So I hope you understand this. So I think I'll add a link on the description below to see maybe there's a short read for this particular implementation, like the state management approach for larger apps, so you can read about them. And that is it. So the next I'll get you into the real thing, that is writing the particular codes for this project. So we'll convert all of what we have as a block here to states. So I'd like you to create a new branch from here. I have created mine, call it develop provider. You can see it on the repo. So I've created it here. You can just clone that to see the changes and follow along on what I'm doing. So just stay around and so we can do this. Thank you. And here is the main.dat file that we are going to run our Flutter app on. So you can see the main function here, and you can go through this. I have gone through this on our previous lesson, in which you can actually check it out on the Flutter Fairy channel. So what are we talking about here? We are actually working on to convert this entire implementation, which is the block pattern implementation, to a provider pattern implementation. So what is a provider and how do we use that? Firstly, I'm going to tell you how to use a provider. You're going to go to your pub spec and add the package here and the version number here. You can see this on the pub.dev site, and you can just click here and copy and add it to your pubspec.yaml, the dependencies part, and you can get the whole code for the provider package. And secondly, what is a provider, how to use it, and I'll just give you a brief summary of how to use a provider within your project, and we'll kick off to using that in this project. So on the provider pub.dev here, you can actually see that it's actually a wraparound inherited widgets to make them easy to use and more reusable. Does that make any sense? So I'm going to explain that more. You can actually read through this to see more things on provider. And here provider here are widgets that make values available to the descendant widgets that needs them. So what are this provider here? So provider can be a way to pass in values, and these values are called states in this our implementation, because we're actually dealing on UI, states, and repositories, services, and models. So the values here we are talking about in this little definition of mine, and a widget that makes values available to the descendants. And a provider is also fundamentally a means for sharing values, which are states. So these descendants widgets can also be called a dependent. So if you in our auth page here, we can go to the page here, you can see some implementation of the provider package, which we actually call on the change notifier provider. And what this does, it creates a state on this particular widget, which is the auth page widget, and whatever widget that is a child to this can access this particular state. And we have created the state here and also use it here with the value here, and also pass in the child for auth page. So in this auth page right here, you can see that we have a lot of things here to actually use. So you can see that we have the state here that we access, and right here that we access right here, and you can see that we have accessed most of the states, the controller, on page change, and in here you can see on phone page that we also accessing it here, and on the other pages like the OTP page and the setup page. So you can see that here, the phone page, we are accessing the provider here, and other pages in the page view. So we have the OTP, and also we have the setup account, and also have the auth button, which is this. So clicking on the auth button right here, you can see we are also accessing the auth states here too. So you can see that we are accessing that and we are using it within our app. So those are the descendants widgets that are actually dependent to our provider. So I hope you understand this, because those are the things we'll be using. So we'll be using the provider.auth to access our provider state, our state, and from the provider. And also we can use the context.auth.wash or read to actually read a state. So we can use that as well. So that is for that. And also let's go into the auth state to see what we have converted our blog to. So right here we have the phone auth state, and we have it as an enum, which is a constant values. And here we have the initialize, success, loading, code sent, and error. So this is more explanatory to you. This is actually the initial page. When the page is ideal, the phone state is auth state is ideal, and success here is when there is a good thing that actually happened. Maybe a code has been sent successfully, or we actually got logged in successfully. Here is when there is a login, a loading spinner, or there is a network request actually going on. And we have the code sent, and also the error. Right here is when we get an error, we can change the state. The code sent here is when a code is being sent to our user. So to actually create a state with provider, you can just write the class name and extend it with a change notifier. So this actually introduces you to so many things like the as listener, add listener. You also have the remove listener, the notifier listeners, and things like that. So in here we use the auth service and the auth repo, and also use the phone auth state, which we are using here, the initial as the start of this. And also we have all the text editing controllers we are using in our project. So all of this is being done on the previous video. So but the thing was, all of this was in our UI. So that's one of this good thing about providers. So we are going to use this way. All our click events, things that we actually use in our app, is going to come up on our state, and the UI is going to be just UI. And here we have the page controller and everything in it. So I'll just walk you through some of the methods we have here and how it is being used. So you can see the phone number verification. So the phone number verification here, verify phone, send OTP. So this is what actually sends the OTP. And we have some few methods here. We have the completed, failed, code sent, code auto retrieval, timeout, and based on that we change the state and of the phone auth. So based on this we can also change our UI based on this. So you can check that out also, because I'm actually running out of time here. I don't want this video to be longer than what I want it to be. So we have the verify and login. So this is where when the code is being sent and we get the verification ID, and also we pass in the SMS we get on our phone, and also pass our phone number, and we verify. This method is then called from the auth service, and we also get the user and change the state to success, animate to the next page. And here we can also sign in current user using from the user repository. This has been talked about on our previous video. And code sent here animates to next page and also starts the countdown. And here is how the countdown is being implemented. And I'll try to log in right here so you see that this is actually working. So I'll log in with my phone number, and and I'll try to click here, and I'll wait for the code to be sent on my phone right here. So as usual, I'll be verified right here, so I'll wait for some time, and I'm back, and the code is going to be sent to me now. So I have received a code. Received a code, so I'll try to type them in here. Two, 5, 2, 4, and I'll click here and see, wait for its verification, so we can check on our console here to see. So we have been logged in, and this is why we didn't go to the setup pages, because I have logged in before. So, and here is the map page, and why the map page is not being launched is because the location is not being enabled for this particular app. So I'll go here and make this accessible to this app, to this project, and I'll try to reload this. And here we are, everything is working nice and clean. So everything is working nice and clean here. So you can see we have our current location and the marker on our current location. So we can see that everything is working for the auth state. And I'll just show you how the map, the home here, it's the same, almost the same as what we had before. We are using the value listenable builder to make the change based on the user notifier we have here. So you can check out the previous video for this lesson to understand this very well. And if you don't get this a lot, just leave a comment on the comment section down below. And here in the map, that's where we have a state, and right here we have some few states we are going to talk about here. So on the block we have the event states and the block. So on the functions right here are like events. So we have load my position. So I'm calling this function actually loads a user position, and load route coordinates, this actually load a coordinate from the start latitude and longitude and to the end. So this creates a polylines on the map, and search address here and search the user address based on the search query a user inserted. And the on map created is when a map is being created, and based on the controller here we passing it to the Google Map controller and animate it to the current position. And the on map tap, so this is based on when a map is being tapped. And the on map on camera move, it's based on when a camera is moved. We use the on camera move right in the map service. On tap address is when we actually search on a address and we made a tap to one of the item in the list. So you can go through all of these. So get current location is when our app is launched, we actually get the current location, which is what we have here. So everything is working nice and clean. You can see the state and how the state is being implemented here, how it is being used. so you can follow this and enjoy the lecture all along. So I think that's all for this tutorial, and on the future we are going to make more things on this and make it look more ride hailing kind of app. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, thumb up to this video, click on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video or any content about Flutter and development videos. So stay tuned and thank you for watching. God bless you.